So this is a demonstration of the Bunny framework and what it does and the current system here. So after you sign on, create an account, you sign on, and then normally you go in here, you enable the bundles you want. This is the software, and you enable the ones you want. Then you create your companies, and then you set your settings stuff up, and then you get to the main screen, and this is your account screen. And so you have different companies. I have 2 companies, and these are the different bundles I've set up. And so this is the first one I created. This was basically a demonstration of the framework. I created the framework back in 2011. That's why it looks like this. But this, I figured if I could get this, I already had customers using this. So I figured if I can get all this in there and get it to work, then the framework would work. So that's what I did. And so you can see it does all the normal stuff that you would normally want, in a system. And then, normally we've got cards. Cards, stuff, a bunch of cards, a bunch of stuff. And then sites. Because here we have site 2003, test site. And here we just have a bunch of stuff like fleet settings, not a whole lot of stuff here. You have products and stuff you can set up on your site, devices. You have transactions, a bunch of transactions you can have. Authorizations. The system does both the auth and capture, does invoicing, billing, taxing, billing, everything. There's a bunch of reports. Of course, you got our standard reports and all the fun stuff. Why not? So then and maintenance, got all the maintenance stuff, of course. That's all the fun stuff. Profiles, you got all kinds of restrictions you want to put on there, add and change users, and taxes. Taxes are fun, of course. You got all the taxes you can want in there. You can add your own taxes. It's all manageable by yourself. All the taxes in the whole country in there. You can set which one you want. How about Arkansas? Do they have taxes? Nope, they have no taxes in Arkansas. How about that? Okay, so then we have uploads, we have billings, all the fun stuff there. Okay, then. But this was just a demonstration of the system. And so then I actually went back and did bike racing. And then back about a year ago, I did the Internet I/O system. Okay, this is basically very similar. You can see it has, these are state changes on digital I/O, digital analog I/O systems. So monitoring whatever you want to monitor. And you can see here, over here, a bunch of messages are being sent on this test site over here, and our devices are being monitored and stuff. And then, but again, these are state changes, so it doesn't really demonstrate what's really going on here because the state changes aren't that frequent. So you go over to sites, of course, and then click on the site, and now we got a bunch more stuff on the site, but it's the same site. Actually, you see, it's the same site, all the same. Fun stuff, devices here, interfaces, channels, devices, a bunch of devices. You set them up, but normally you wouldn't use this interface anyway. But okay, these are interfaces that are actually, that look like these over here. These are object devices. So you hook this up. So for instance, if you wanted to monitor a door, for instance, you had a server in a cabinet, and you wanted to monitor the door opening, you would use one of these with the software and get an alert. You could turn on the camera and do whatever you want. There she is. Meow. Okay, there she is there. And but that's what this is for. But again, it doesn't do a lot of I/O, so it's sort of a demonstration, but it was fun. And got all your channels, your logs, all your fun logs here. You report on your logs and maintenance, whatever. Okay. Go back here, but we also have the system monitor here. And so after I did this, the Internet I/O, I started this and then I realized, well, I really needed a full system monitor. And this would really demonstrate the full framework out. So here we have, again, the same site, but again, we just have a device, stuff, the same devices, same exact devices. And now we have hosts. This is all my hosts here, all my systems, and it shows, and these are just variables. So these are in the system, in the software, it's open source, and so you can set whatever variables you want to display here. Just like is on the front main screen, you could have whatever you want to display there. It's open source. Whatever you want to display is what you want. So that's what that's for. And then you have, this is, every time you click on it, it's going to update because this is live data. It's from memory. So actually all this data here and in the logs and in the main screen, and most of the data you see is actually just in memory, not in a database anywhere, never stored anywhere. And it's just in C++ access there. Same here. So this file is actually over 3 gigabytes, 4 or 5 gigs. I don't know. It's really big. But it's pretty quick because it's a doubly linked list. It's stored as a flat file and everything's just really fun. And then logs, and this is where the really good stuff is, because after, see, the whole point of getting all this data here is to report on it. And so with this system, I didn't tell you, but it collects whatever you want. And currently it collects all of the processes that run, sockets that open, files that open, and that's what it does using auditd. And so you can create a normal report, which is your normal data, but you can also generate a summary report, as well as then what I've created a first level analysis of the data, which is a comparison of day to day. So each day you would only see the changes of that day from previous days. So it makes it pretty easy. And then if I get enough data, then I would add even further analysis of that data and regression analysis and stuff. So that's what this is about here. And then this will be like emailed out, that sort of thing. And then you've got here, I added contacts because you probably want, for alerts and stuff, you have called contacts and contact lists. And so you can send alerts from the system pretty easily. And the main screen sort of looks like this. So this is actually, so you can see it sort of shows, this is actually Firefox here. It's actually Firefox, monitoring Firefox here. That's what makes it super cool. So you can see a lot of data flying through here. So these would be all the hosts here, you know, and then again, it just displays var1, which is whatever you want it to display. Here is the load of all my systems here that are updating in real time. And all this is running in real time. And so soon, I don't know, 15 transactions a second, something like that. But you're probably, oh, okay. So anyway, so here is, minimize that. And so here's the system running. So here's the web server. This is Bunny, the web server, doing mostly logging right now. But it's running in just one CPU and about 600 megs of RAM. It's pretty small. It's just cruising along here. Most of the work is actually done here. So on that screen that's running, it's actually no PHP is involved. It's strictly JavaScript to C code, which is down here. And this is the application server running here. And this is the Memcache interface. And this is just interfacing to Memcache, which is actually running over here. But this would do all your instances, all your replication, you know, in different types of Memcache. So you could point to different servers. This notification manager, same thing, sends out all notifications to Bunny so that you know what data to process and send out. It actually collects all of the data from all of the hosts, puts them in order, and then sends it out to all the subscribers to that data. Yeah, and then this is the file server I created. So this is actually running here locally too. This would normally be on a separate server too, but this is the file server. And this is the server that takes all of the data and does all the work. And then this is the manager into the file server and the client that's processing the data from all of the hosts everywhere. And this is Memcache. And over here, this is the system skeleton because this is a framework. And so the whole idea of a framework is to make it easy. So this is the skeleton. So this is the basic system here. So the whole point of this was to make this super easy. So for you to do all of the work that you see on that screen, all you need really is this. So there's your main and your send data, and even there you can override this. There's send data, you can do a string here, because you can do whatever you want. So that's how super easy it is. And then you define this. This goes into a shared library, which you define in a configuration file like this. You give it a name. Here's your model that you define. There's also another file that links the model to this. And you define your shared library. Done. So that's why you have a framework, because this makes it, I mean, that's it. 20-something lines, 22 lines. The whole system, a lot of these systems here are super small, and makes it easy. Like Noteman here is only less than 1,000 lines of code for all the work it does. File server is even much smaller. This is only about 2,000 lines, but it runs real time. Now you probably say, oh, well, now what about the other systems we have here? Well, okay, so over here, let's see what we got. Let's see if I can have to close this here. Take a break here. This here. Okay, so here we have, this is a MacBook Pro 2008. So it's running the same software, and it runs pretty well. It takes up a pretty good portion of the system because it's old, but it runs just fine. It's also running at the exact same time as the other systems here. This is Fedora 22 running. It's on a 32-bit system, really old. This probably was the best. It runs really well. It just flies along there. And then here we have Windows. This is my newest system. It's only like 3 or 4 years old. And so it's doing pretty well. It's only taking about half the system there. But it's running just fine. Edge. So they all run just fine. So that load you saw, so it's actually doing 100 requests per second right now on the web server. And still basically idling. And yeah, runs just fine. Anyway, that's a demo of the system, and basically it's to monitor whatever you want it to monitor. So the point is just to make it open source and make it fun. And that's it. Bye.